Close your eyes.
Imagine this, a storm, not a small storm, not the kind that just makes the trees shake a little. I mean a real storm, the kind that turns the sky black, the kind that rips roofs off houses, the kind that makes the ocean stand up and roar. Thunder, so loud it shakes your bones, lightning so bright it turns night into day just for 1 second.
Then darkness again, rain not falling, flying sideways like 1,000 angry arrows made of water. That is me. I am that storm. My name is Susanoo. I am a god, not the calm kind, not the wise kind. Not the kind that sits quietly in a temple and listens to prayers. I'm the god of storms, the god of wind and thunder and crashing waves, the god that people pray will go away. My sister is Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun. She is light, she is warmth, she is everything good and beautiful and gentle, and I am the opposite. She makes flowers bloom. I tear them out of the ground. She brings calm seas. I bring waves as tall as mountains. She smiles, and the whole world feels safe. I open my mouth, and the whole world shakes. That is my story. The story of a god who broke everything he touched. A god who was thrown out of heaven. A god who had nothing. No home, no purpose, no reason to keep going, until one night, by a river. In a place called Izumo, I heard someone crying, and everything changed, but that comes later. First, let me tell you how I fell. I grew up in a place called Takamagahara. That means the high plain of heaven, the place where gods live. It was beautiful, of course it was. It was heaven. The sky was always clear. The rivers were made of light. The trees had flowers that never fell. Everything was perfect, quiet, clean, ordered. I hated it. Not because it was bad, because I did not fit. My sister Amaterasu ruled heaven. She was good at it. She was patient. She was fair. She spoke softly. She never lost her temper. The other gods loved her. They followed her. They trusted her. I was not like her. I was loud. I was rough. I broke things. Not always on purpose, but my hands were too strong. My voice was too big. My feelings were too much when I was happy. I laughed so hard the ground cracked. When I was sad, I cried so hard the rivers flooded. When I was angry, storms came. I did not choose to be this way. I was born this way. A storm does not choose to be a storm, it just is. But nobody in heaven wanted a storm. The other gods stayed away from me. They smiled at my sister. They whispered about me. I could hear them. Gods have good ears, they said. He is dangerous. He is careless. He does not belong here. Maybe they were right one day. I went too far. I was angry about something. I do not even remember what. It does not matter. When I got angry, I stopped thinking. That was my biggest problem. I had a heart full of fire and a head full of nothing. I broke things. I broke the fences around my sister's rice fields. I threw a dead horse into her weaving hall. In ancient Japan, this was deeply disrespectful. The rice fields and the weaving hall were sacred to Amaterasu. They were her most important places. I ruined them. Not because I hated her. I did not hate her. She was my sister. I loved her. But my love came out wrong, like a storm trying to hug a flower. The flower always breaks. My sister was scared. The sun goddess was scared of me. She ran. She hid inside a cave. She pulled a great rock over the entrance, and she would not come out. When the sun hides, the world goes dark. All of it. No light, no warmth,
no life. Because of me, the whole world went dark. The other gods were furious. They had every right to be. I had driven the sun away. The world was dying. Plants could not grow. People could not see. Children were crying in the dark. All because of me, because I could not control myself. They gathered together all the gods of heaven. They made a decision. They tricked my sister out of her cave. That is a different story. They used mirrors and dancing and laughter. It worked. The sun came back. The world was bright again, but for me there was no brightness. They cut off my beard in the world of the gods. This was a great shame. Like being told, "You are not one of us anymore." They took my belongings, my treasures, everything, and then they said the words I will never forget. "Get out. Leave. You are no longer welcome in heaven." My sister did not speak. She did not look at me. She stood behind the other gods. Her face was turned away. I wanted her to say something. Anything. Even if she yelled at me. Even if she said she hated me, at least that would mean she still cared. But she said nothing that was worse than any punishment, worse than cutting my beard. Worse than taking my things. The silence, the turned face, the closed door. I fell. Not slowly, not gently. I fell like a rock, like a piece of broken sky. Down, 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 through the clouds, through the wind, through the space between heaven and earth. I crashed into the ground, into the human world, into the dirt and the mud and the cold rain. I lay there, a god in the mud, no home. No heaven, no sister, no purpose, nothing. Just me and the rain, my own rain, falling from the sky I was no longer part of. I walked. That is all I did. I walked through forests, through mountains, through valleys, through rivers. I walked and walked and walked. I did not know where I was going. I did not care. The human world was strange. In heaven, everything was clean and bright. Here, everything was messy. Mud, insects, thorns, dead leaves, animals that bit, plants that stung. Rain that was cold and dirty. Not the warm silver rain of heaven. But there was something else too. Something heaven did not have change. In heaven, nothing changed. The flowers never fell. The rivers never dried. The sky was always the same. Forever and forever and forever, here, things changed. Every day. I saw a tree lose all its leaves. It stood naked and ugly in the cold wind. I thought it was dead, but weeks later green buds appeared. Small, soft, then the leaves came back. Then flowers, then fruit. I watched a caterpillar wrap itself in silk. It did not move for a long time. I thought it was dead too. Then one morning it broke open. A butterfly came out, wet, shaking, ugly at first. But then it spread its wings, colors I had never seen, and it flew away. Dead things coming back, ugly things becoming beautiful, broken things healing. Heaven had none of this because heaven had no breaking. I wandered for a long time, days, weeks. I lost count. People saw me sometimes. A strange man walking alone, wild hair, torn clothes, eyes that looked like thunder. They stayed away. Of course they did, even as a human. I looked like trouble. I did not blame them. I did not talk to anyone. I had nothing to say. What would I say? I used to be a god. I used to live in heaven. My sister is the sun. I broke everything and they threw me out.
Nobody would believe that, and even if they did, it does not matter. Believing my story would not fix it. I was lost, not on the outside. I knew where the mountains were. I knew where the rivers went. I was lost on the inside. Who am I if I'm not a god in heaven? What am I for? If everything I touch breaks, why am I still walking? If I have nowhere to go, I had no answers. Then I reached a river and I heard crying. It was evening. The sun was going down. The sky was orange and purple. The river was slow and quiet. Insects were singing in the grass and someone was crying. Not one person, more than one. I could hear it through the trees. Deep, heavy, hopeless crying. The kind of crying that comes from people who have cried so many times that they are tired of it, but they cannot stop. I walked toward the sound. Near the river I saw them, an old man, an old woman, and between them a girl. The old man had white hair. His back was bent. His hands were shaking. Tears ran down the deep lines on his face. The old woman was holding the girl, holding her tight, like someone trying to hold water in their hands, knowing it will slip through, holding anyway. The girl was young, maybe 16, maybe 17. She had long black hair, a simple white robe. She was not crying. She was quiet, very quiet. Her face was calm, but her eyes were the saddest eyes I have ever seen, and I am a god. I have seen many things sad, but not afraid. That is what surprised me. She was not afraid. She looked like someone who has already accepted something terrible, who has already said goodbye to hope. That kind of sadness is worse than fear. Fear means you still think maybe you can run away. Sadness like hers means you have stopped running. I walked closer. The old man saw me. He stepped in front of the girl, protecting her. His old body was shaking. But he stood between me and her. I said, I am not here to hurt anyone. I heard crying. What is wrong? He looked at me for a long time, deciding if he could trust a stranger. A strange man with wild hair and storm-dark eyes. Then he spoke, and what he told me changed everything. The old man's name was Ashinazuchi. The old woman's name was Tenazuchi. They were gods too, small gods, not like me, not sky-shaking, heaven-breaking gods. They were earth gods, quiet gods. The kind that look after rivers and trees and rice fields. They had 8 daughters, 8 beautiful girls, born one after another, like 8 flowers growing on the same stem. The old man said their names. One by one, his voice cracked on every name, like each name was a piece of glass in his mouth. The first daughter gone, the second daughter gone, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the 6th, the 7th, gone, 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 7 daughters, all gone. I said, what happened to them? He closed his eyes. The old woman's arms tightened around the girl. He said one word. Orochi, Yamata, no Orochi. The great serpent, the 8-headed snake. I had heard of it, even in heaven, we had heard of it. A monster so old that nobody remembered when it was born. A creature so large that its body covered 8 valleys and 8 mountains at the same time. 8 heads, 8 tails, its eyes were red. Red like blood, red like fire. Red like anger that never sleeps. Every year, Orochi came down from the mountains. Every year it came to this river, and every year it took one daughter per year, for 7 years. 7 daughters,
swallowed, one by one, and now the 8th year was coming. The last daughter, the last flower on the stem, her name was Kushinada Hime. I looked at her. She sat between her parents.
Quiet, still, like a candle that knows the wind is coming. Not fighting, not running, just burning, quietly. Until the wind blows it out, something moved inside me, not in my head, in my chest, deep, hot, like a fire starting in a place I thought was cold and dead. I knew that feeling. I had felt it many times before anger, but this time it was different before. My anger was wild, pointless.
I was angry at heaven, at my sister, at myself, at everything and nothing. This anger had a direction. This anger had a target. This anger had a reason. 8 heads, red eyes. A monster that eats daughters. For the first time in my life, my anger made sense.
I looked at the old man, I said, "I will kill it."
He stared at me. His mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. He said, "Who are you?" I told him the truth. "I am Susanoo, son of Izanagi, the god who made this land, brother of Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun. I was a god of heaven, now I am nothing. I was thrown out, I'm alone, but I'm still strong, stronger than any man."
"Stronger than any beast. I will kill your serpent."
The old man looked at me for a long time. I do not know what he saw. A wild stranger, a fallen god, a man with nothing left to lose.
Maybe all of those things. Then he bowed his head, deep, low, he said, "Please, save my daughter. She is the last one. If she is taken too, we will have nothing. Our lives will be over." Not because we will die, but because there will be no reason to live. I understood that. More than he knew, I said, "I have one condition." He looked up. I said, "If I kill Orochi, I want to marry your daughter now." I know what you're thinking. That sounds rude. That sounds selfish. Who is this stranger asking to marry a girl he just met? But let me explain. I did not say it because she was beautiful. She was beautiful, yes, but I had seen beauty before. Heaven was full of beauty. I said it because of her eyes, those sad, calm, not afraid eyes.
I looked into them and I saw something I had never seen in anyone's eyes before. Not in heaven, not on earth. She was facing death, and she was not screaming. She was not running. She was not begging. She was sitting between her old parents, quietly, letting them hold her, giving them these last moments of peace. She was braver than me.
I had been thrown out of heaven, and I had been feeling sorry for myself for weeks, walking around, moping, crying in the rain like a child.
This girl was about to be eaten by a monster with 8 heads, and she was comforting her parents. I wanted to be near someone like that. I wanted to protect someone like that.
I wanted to learn how to be that kind of brave. That is why I asked.
The old man looked at his daughter. She looked back at him. Then she looked at me. For the first time,
something changed in her eyes.
Not hope, exactly. Something smaller than hope. Like a tiny seed that has not decided yet whether to grow. She nodded. Once, small, quiet, like everything about her. The old man said, "She is yours if you save her." She is yours. I stood up. I had been wandering for weeks. No purpose, no direction, no reason. Now I had one.
I needed a plan. Now I know what you might think. I am a god, a storm god. I have the power of wind and thunder and lightning. Why not just fight the serpent head on? Swing a sword, throw lightning. smash it, because I tried that before.
Being wild, being reckless, charging in with all my power and no plan. That is how I broke heaven. I was done being reckless for the first time. I wanted to be smart. Orochi was too strong for a straight fight. 8 heads, each head could bite from a different direction. 8 tails, each tail could crush a mountain. Its body was covered in thick scales, hard as iron, maybe harder. I could not outfight it, but maybe I could outsmart it. I asked the old man, "Does Orochi drink?" He looked confused. I said, "Sake, rice wine, does it drink sake?" He thought about it. Then slowly he nodded. He said, "Yes. When Orochi comes, it smells the air. If there is sake nearby, it always drinks first. It loves sake."
It cannot resist.
I smiled. For the first time in a long time I smiled. I said, "Then here is what we will do. Make sake, the strongest sake you can make. Brew it 8 times to make it strong. So strong that 1 cup could knock a man flat on his back. Then build a fence, a big fence with 8 gates, 8 openings. At each gate, put a platform. On each platform, put a large vat."
A huge vat, big enough for a head to fit inside.
"Fill every vat with the strongest sake. 8 gates, 8 vats, 8 heads." The old man understood. His eyes went wide. We worked fast. The old couple brewed sake. I built the fence. I dug holes for the posts. I carried the wood. I swung the hammer. Have you ever seen a god build a fence? It is not elegant, but it is fast. When we finished, I turned to Kusanada Hime. I said, "I need to hide you. Somewhere safe. Somewhere Orochi cannot find you. Somewhere Orochi cannot smell you." She looked at me, quiet, trusting.
I used my power, the last bit of godly power I had. I turned her into a kushi, a comb, a beautiful comb. Small, delicate, I placed the comb in my hair. She was with me, on me, part of me.
I whispered, "Stay close. I will bring you back, I promise." Then I hid behind the fence. In the shadows I waited. The moon rose, full, bright, white. The wind changed direction.
It came from the mountains now, cold, thick, heavy,
Carrying a smell, a terrible smell, like old blood, like rotten trees, like something that has been alive for too long and has forgotten what clean feels like. The ground began to shake. It was coming. First I heard it, a sound not like anything you have heard before. Not a roar, not a hiss, something lower, deeper, like the earth itself was groaning, like the mountains were in pain. The trees shook, not from wind, from weight, from something so large and so heavy that the ground bent beneath it. Then I saw it. I am a god. I have seen the sky split open. I have seen the ocean rise. I have seen things that would make human minds break. But I had never seen anything like Orochi. It came over the mountain, slowly, because it was so big that fast was not possible. Its body covered the mountain like a living river of scales, dark green, almost black, each scale the size of a door, each scale glowing faintly.
like a whetstone in moonlight. 8 heads, 8 long necks, each one thicker than the oldest tree in the forest, rising from the body like 8 terrible towers, swaying, searching,
tasting the air with 8 forked tongues, the eyes red, bright red, like 8 pairs of lanterns burning in the dark. I could feel their heat from where I was hiding. Those eyes had seen 1,000 years. Those eyes had no mercy in them. None. 8 tails, dragging behind, each tail leaving a valley in the ground where it passed. Trees fell, rocks cracked. The river changed direction just to get away. This is what had been eating those girls. This is what an old man and an old woman had been facing, alone every year for 7 years. I gripped my sword. My hands were not shaking. A storm does not shake, but I will be honest with you, my heart was beating very fast. The serpent reached the fence. All 8 heads rose high. Testing the air, searching for the girl, searching for Kushinada Jaime. But she was not there. She was a comb in my hair, hidden by godly power. Instead, the 8 heads smelled something else. Sake. 8 heads turned, 8 noses pointed at the 8 gates, 8 tongues flickered, and if a serpent could smile, I think it smiled. One by one, each head pushed through a gate. One by one, each head found a vat. One by one, each head dipped into the sake and drank. The sound of 8 heads drinking at the same time, it was like 8 waterfalls pouring backwards.
Like the ocean trying to swallow itself. They drank and drank and drank. The strongest sake ever brewed, 8 times brewed, strong enough to knock a man out with one sip, one by one. The head slowed down. The movements became lazy. The red eyes became half closed. The necks began to sway, not searching anymore. Wobbling, drooping, one head fell, heavy, like a tree falling. It crashed to the ground and did not move. Then a second head fell. Then a third, 4, 5, 6, 7. The last head, the biggest one, the one in the middle, fought the longest. Its red eyes blinked, slowly, trying to stay open. It lifted its neck one more time, swayed left, swayed right, then it fell, 8 heads, all down, all sleeping. The ground shook when the last one hit. Then, silence. I stepped out of the shadows. I looked at the serpent, this great, terrible, ancient thing, lying on the ground, helpless, breathing in slow, heavy waves, its scales rising and falling like dark hills. I raised my sword and I did what I came to do. I will not describe what happened next in detail. It was not beautiful, it was not clean. It was the hardest thing I have ever done. Scales like iron, flesh like mountains, blood like rivers, but I kept going. Head by head, neck by neck, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When it was over, I stood in the middle of it all, covered in blood, breathing hard. My sword was chipped and dull. My arms could barely lift it, but it was done. Orochi was dead. No more daughters would be taken. No more parents would cry. No more last flowers on the stem. It was done. I sat down right there in the middle of everything. I was too tired to move. Then I noticed something. While cutting through the body, my sword had hit something hard in one of the 8 tails. Something harder than scale, harder than bone. Something that made my sword bounce back. I went to look. Inside the 4th tail, buried deep in the flesh, there was something shining. I reached in. I pulled it out, a sword. Not a normal sword. This sword was different. The blade was long and curved and beautiful. It shone with its own light. Not sunlight, not moonlight, something else. A light from deep inside the metal itself, like the sword had a soul. I held it up, the light spread across my face. I could feel power in it. Old power, deep power.
The kind of power that does not destroy, the kind that protects. This sword would later be called Kusanagi no Tsurugi. That means the grass-cutting sword. It became one of the 3 sacred treasures of Japan. Even today, it is one of the 3 items that represent the Japanese emperor. It is that important. But in that moment, standing there, tired and bloody and alone, I did not think about treasures. I did not think about emperors. I thought about my sister, Amaterasu, the sun goddess, the one I had hurt. The one who had turned her face away, the one who had closed the door. I will give this sword to her, not to buy her forgiveness. You cannot buy forgiveness. Not with swords, not with treasures, not with anything. I wanted to give it to her because it was the only good thing I had ever found. And the best thing should go to the people you love, even if they do not love you back. Even if they never speak to you again. I wrapped the sword carefully. I sent it to heaven to my sister. I do not know if she smiled when she received it. I do not know if she thought of me. I will probably never know, but I sent it anyway, because that is what love is. Not the loud kind, not the storm kind, the quiet kind, the kind that gives without needing anything back. Then I turned around. I reached into my hair. I took out the comb, and Kushinada Hime stood before me again. A girl, not a comb. A real living, breathing girl with long black hair. And a simple white robe. And those eyes, those sad, calm, brave eyes. But they were different now. The sadness was still there. It would always be there. 7 sisters do not come back. That kind of sadness stays forever, but next to the sadness, something new, a tiny light. Like the first star that appears at night, small but real. She looked at me, she did not say anything. She did not need to. She took my hand. Her hand was small, warm, soft. My hand was big, rough, covered in blood and dirt, but they fit. We stayed in Izumo, that is the land by the river, the land where I heard crying. We built a home, a simple home, not a palace, not a temple, just a home, wood and grass and earth. I never went back to heaven. Sometimes I miss it. The clean light, the silver rain, my sister's face, but this world, this messy, muddy, broken, beautiful world gave me something heaven never did. A reason to be strong, not strong for myself, strong for someone else. In heaven, I was a storm, wild, loud, breaking everything here. On the ground, in the mud, with a wife and a home and a river that floods every spring. I'm still a storm, but now I'm the kind of storm that stands between the people I love and the things that want to hurt them. That is what I was made for. I just did not know it, not until I heard crying by a river. So tonight, if you're lying there, feeling like a storm, if your feelings are too big, if your voice is too loud, if you keep breaking things you do not mean to break, if people look at you and step back, if someone you love has turned their face away, listen to me. You're not bad. You're not wrong. You're just a storm that has not found its reason yet. Keep walking. Even if you do not know where you are going, even if the rain is cold and the mud is deep, because somewhere ahead, by a river, in the evening light, someone is crying. Someone needs you, not a different you, not a calmer, smaller, quieter you. They need exactly the you that you are, all of it, the thunder, the lightning, the wind. They need your storm. And when you find them, you will understand everything.
The falling, the wandering, the loneliness, the shame, it was all leading you here.
To the place where your storm becomes someone else's shelter. Good night, little storm. Good night.